بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing with our program. And as in the month of Muharram, blessed days, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, ألا إن في أيام دهركم لنفحات ألا فتعرضوا لها. Indeed, in the days of the year, there are some fresh breeze. So try to get exposed to these fresh and blessed times. And of course, the month of Muharram is a blessed time and a sacred month, and Yawm Ashura as well. And during this sacred month, when we say ta'arradu laha, when the Prophet said ta'arradu laha, get exposed to it, it means try to get the rahmah, the blessings of Allah, the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing al-amal al-salih. And one of al-a'mal al-salihah that we try to highlight in the month of al-Muharram, of course, is as-sadaqah, spending fi sabilillah. And the best sadaqah is where it is needed the most. And I cannot think of places in the whole world more has more needy people than some Muslim lands such as Afghanistan, Palestine, parts of Africa, where there is a dire need for support. And we try in the program to bring you some of those doors of khair, those organizations that act like doors of khair, gates of khair. Through them we can support, we can help, we can reach to those people who are needy. From among them is a leading organization, of course, Africa Muslim Agency, and we are honored to have in our company today Brother Hafiz Imraan Choonara, the CEO of Africa Muslim Agency. Let's welcome him. Assalamu alaikum, Hafiz Imraan.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, always good to be with you and with the viewers of Hilaal TV especially. May Allah bless you and your family and all the viewers of Hilaal TV in these blessed days of Muharram.
Ameen ya Rabbil Alamin. Jazakallah Hafiz Imraan. I always say, and even off air also we say this, that through the sincerity of the team, the whole team, alhamdulillah, you've reached to different parts of the world, alhamdulillah, and the aids and the humanitarian support is really reaching and helping to those weak and vulnerable people in different communities. In the beginning, I would like you to give us some updates about the current situation around the world and how Africa Muslim Agency is stepping forward.
I think, Sheikh, first of all, especially for the viewers of Hilaal TV right now, there are many amazing organizations doing incredible work right now. And I always want to start off acknowledging that, because when we say a team, we don't only mean Africa Muslim Agency team. We mean the broader team of society, of the Muslim Ummah, of communities, because every little bit comes together to support humanity. Subhanallah. One person, one organization, one team cannot do everything. Subhanallah. So we are one of those organizations, alhamdulillah, been blessed by Allah to be able to, He's given us the opportunity and tested us in the process to be able to do some of this and be part of the broader community. So around the world right now, we know, Sheikh, the Ummah is struggling in so many ways, but succeeding in so many ways. As Muslims, we know, husnul dhan billahi azza wa jal, that Allah's plan, there's always goodness in it.
Good expectation of Allah.
Good expectation. We must have a good expectation of Allah. Allah doesn't intend to destroy us. Allah intends to benefit us. So when we say the situation around the world, yes, we look at Gaza, we look at Palestine, we look at Afghanistan, we look at poverty in Africa, we look at some of these places. In South Africa, we look at sometimes the flooding and all that happens. And human nature is we tend to feel like there's despair. Yes, there is. But there's also khair, there's barakah. Why? Because there's despair. Allah's testing certain communities with poverty, with the drought, with maybe floods, with maybe whatever the case is, with conflict and destruction. But then He's testing the other side of the community to give, to support, to help. And that brings us closer together as an ummah, and it builds humility in us so that we can realize and remember who our brothers and sisters around the world are. And we can be that one body that feels the pain when another part of the body is in pain. So yes, of course, in Gaza, there's incredible difficulty, obviously. In Afghanistan, yes, with all the changes that have come to Afghanistan, of course, it's going to take a very long time to recover, because there's the highest rate of poverty in the world is there.
Same in Syria, Lebanon.
Same in Syria, same in Lebanon, these countries. In Africa, of course, Africa, we think as Africa always as a poverty-stricken continent. And yes, of course, Africa has immense poverty. But on the flip side, Africa has immense growth and potential. And our responsibility as humanitarian organizations is not just to give to alleviate the poverty of today. We have to think about sustainable solutions to benefit communities for the future.
That's 100%, Imran. Jazakallah khairan for phrasing it in this way. And I would like to hear from you also about the different projects. Maybe if we highlight some of the projects in these countries. In Afghanistan, what do you do? In Lebanon, what do you do? In Palestine? Let us know.
Well, I think first of all, Afghanistan, because Afghanistan, we've got to think about not just, like we said, not just giving fish today, but building families, sustaining families, helping them to grow. Because every human being wants dignity. They want their dignity to be protected. They have the sense of pride, the sense of self-esteem. And so we come along to assist them, not to make them feel smaller. So in Afghanistan, we have chicken farming, for example. That's a project that we started recently, alhamdulillah, where we give people chickens and a farming area, etc., and we equip them to be able to create sustainable income for themselves and their families. Because ultimately, you give multiple families, and we start with 50 families, for example. You choose 50 families, you give them the chicken farming, the whole equipment, the whole the feed, and of course the chickens, and you teach them how to, and we monitor it, and we help them to do it. Now, when you think about 1 month, they can already turn a profit. 2 months, they can, even if they just feed their family, it's a sense of dignity. So that's in Afghanistan. It's an amazing project. Besides the hundreds of solar-powered boreholes that are in Afghanistan right now that AMA has done and continues to do because of the dire need for water in Afghanistan.
Yes.
So if you give water on the one hand, and then you give them a sustainable project to start learning how to feed their families, amazing, subhanAllah.
They succeed.
Exactly. Of course, during Adha, we of course distributed Qurbani and clothing for children, etc. Now in Lebanon, interestingly, and Syria now, we have a tuk-tuk project where we give tuk-tuks, little tuk-tuk kind of, these little scooters, to youngsters or to fathers in households, so that they can now use that as a little taxi service or a little delivery service and make some money. And they pay back. This is interesting, actually. All these families, even in Afghanistan and in Lebanon and Syria, it's not just a handout. It's a hand up, because they pay it back. And when they pay it back, we have a success rate now in Lebanon and Syria of 90% of the people who get it pay back, so that we recover that money to buy new ones.
Allah.
So it becomes a sustainable project like that, where the ones we give and the donors donate,
Returns back to the community.
It returns back to the community, subhanAllah. Because you want to build Syria. That's what you want to do. Of course, we have the Amman school and all of that in Lebanon, and now we're looking at an education project in Syria, because you got to build. You got to do two things. You got to give on the one side to alleviate the poverty of today, and then you have to apply your mind and work with the community. Think for the future as well.
How about Palestine? Palestine always take the lead when it comes to
absolutely. And right now, we ask Allah, we beg Allah's mercy and Allah's rahmah in that part of the world. Of course, we see what is going on, but we never lose hope, because we know that Allah's plan is always victorious. In Gaza, now, of course, there's so much you see on the news and so much you see on social media, and you've got to sift through all of that. But two things we are able to do there is deliver water tankers every week in Gaza, and we are able to deliver food. Now, food, when we say food, everybody thinks, but wait a second, there's 2 million people starving. Yes, of course it is. That's the reality, true. One aid organization, even all the aid organizations put together who are trying to do a little bit what they can do, cannot be enough to alleviate what is happening there. However, is food available? Yes, it is. When I say that, it's extremely expensive. It's prohibitively expensive for anyone in Gaza to be able to afford. Now you can talk about why that's the case and all that, a whole different discussion. But the point of the matter is, so we can't guarantee every week you will get maize or you will get flour or you will get this. Whatever is available on the day, and the cost is exorbitant, but we are able to source that for the day or for this week. So we can't guarantee every week what will happen. It's just based on what is going on, what is happening, and it changes daily, as we know. But water tankers, alhamdulillah, that has been a massive, massive benefit to be able to take. Now, we can't provide the whole of Gaza water tankers. Everyone has limitations. Every organization is trying to do some good work there, alhamdulillah. But there are limitations. And everybody does what they can do. Because ultimately, Allah does not call on us to solve the entire situation. Allah calls on us to do whatever we are able to do. And we have
the common question that sometimes people have in minds, and they've asked it a few times before, and that is, will it reach? They say, will my support reach? Some people are in doubt.
Exactly.
So we want to hear from you how this support really truly
Exactly.
reaches the people.
100%. And this is what I think is so important is that, of course, first of all, we have so many implementing partners on the ground as well that we monitor and make sure that the aid reaches people, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in Gaza, whether it's in Lebanon or Syria, etc., etc. And many of our donors actually have traveled to these places as well, of course, not in Gaza. But really, when you think about it, two things I want to highlight here. Number one is that we must always remember that Allah does not need you and I to solve the situation of another human being. Allah does not need us. Allah can solve the situation by Himself. Allah is the greatest. So when we are donating with a niyyah, because our sincere niyyah to give for the pleasure of Allah to benefit another human being. Then it's our responsibility to make sure that we are giving to an organization, and there's many organizations who are trustworthy. And so we give to an organization that we trust and we believe is doing the work. And then we follow up with them to ask them, okay, show me proof, show me pictures, show me videos, whatever the case of the work getting done. Now, I know some people get to a point where like, yeah, but I still don't believe it. Okay, but that is something in your heart, Ya Rab. Because when you're giving with the sincere niyyah, and your responsibility, my responsibility is to do your homework to say, do I trust the organization I'm giving it to? Once you've handed that over, the amana moves from you to that organization. But if you've done your work to believe, you trust. If you have doubt, don't give it. I say to people all the time, if you have doubt, don't. Because your responsibility is not to have doubt. You must do your homework. But subhanallah, we measure, we check, we follow, we get the data, we get the feedback, we do all of that, from all the countries we work in, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Back home, Brother Imran, if you can just also shed some light on the projects of Africa Muslim Agency in South Africa.
Here in South Africa right now, it's winter time, of course, as we know. And here in Cape Town right now, it is raining for the past 1 week, over 1 week. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma sayyiban nafi'an. And ultimately, when you think about it, you must look at, and I think about this when I'm driving in my car. When you see a youngster, I was driving this morning and I saw someone sitting on the side of the road begging at the traffic light, and it's pouring with rain. And I'm looking at this human being, and you always got to think about the human being. Doesn't matter their race, doesn't matter their religious background, doesn't matter their cultural background. In South Africa, we know poverty hits everybody in different communities, different ways. So very close to all of our homes, there are people who are needing blankets. There are people who are needing shelter. There are people who are needing food. There are people who, of course, Mandela Day is coming up, so to speak. And I know the whole country will rally around that for that day. We're doing something, for example, in the Eastern Cape during that time. But the Eastern Cape doesn't only suffer on that day. The Eastern Cape is our poorest province in the country. The highest rate of unemployment in the country. We have feeding daily in the Eastern Cape in different parts, because this is important. And many South African organizations do amazing work during winter time. So winter time in South Africa, in Johannesburg, in Bloemfontein, it's freezing cold in these places. And we must understand, you and I get into our bed every night, and I say this because tonight when you're in your bed, and you're warm, and still you're struggling in your blanket to feel warm, and you want to think about the person who is sleeping under a piece of cardboard on the side of the road. Now you and I can have our issue about, yeah, but they do this, and they do this, and they this, and they that. Put all of that aside. I ask you, and I remember Qari Nurbai, rahimahullah, taught me when I started this work. He said, Imran, whenever you see a human being, even if you can't give him something, make a dua for him. Even if he's not a Muslim and you see him standing on the side of the road and you can't help him, you don't have anything to give him, or whatever the case is, make a dua. Look at him and smile. Acknowledge the human being. Don't look straight. There's a human being next to you. When you're driving on the side of the road at night and you see street children sleeping under a cardboard box, if you can't stop and help because it's dangerous, you're not sure, make a dua at least. But more importantly, get involved, speak to organizations. African Muslim Agency, of course, today, right now, this morning, our team in Cape Town is doing winter distribution. They're doing another one this weekend, another one next week. And that's only in Cape Town. It's all over the country. It happens all the time.
Jazakallah khairan, Imran, for highlighting all these projects and amazing work. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you success. Any final message you would like to share with our
As always, whenever I'm in a place where I can share with anybody else, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. We are human beings. We tend to fear sometimes whether we will have enough. We tend to worry sometimes about our future, our children, whether we'll have enough. But of course, if you have taqwa, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا, if you have God consciousness, taqwa, Allah opens a way always.
Allah.
وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. He gives you sustenance, and sustenance is not only money, although money is important, not only money though, but it gives you sustenance from places you never imagined. If you have healthy children, that's sustenance. If you have good health, it's sustenance. If you have a good family, it's sustenance. If you have work, it's sustenance. Allah gives some places we never imagined. Allah's promise is never, never, never untrue. It is always haqq.
Allahu Akbar. Very golden advices, Imran. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you and
Ameen, ya
continue
Rabb.
to use
Ameen.
us all
Ameen,
for
ya
the
Rabb.
service of the Ummah. And may Allah take Africa Muslim Asia from strength to strength.
Ameen. And
Allahumma
may
ameen.
Allah take you, Sheikh, and your
Allahumma
family
ameen.
and the
Jazakallah
entire team of Hilaal TV
Ameen, ya Rabb. Jazakallah
from strength to strength. May Allah grant you barakah, the best of this world and the best of the
Ameen, ya
hereafter.
Rabb. Ameen, ya Rabb. Jazakallah khairan, Hafiz Imran, for joining
Afwan.
us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.